those of you who still think we're from England, we're not. No. We've been on planes and on trains.
Hello, everyone. Let me try that again. Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another edition of the Other People Show on Friday, June 28th, 2024 at 10:44 p.m. It's a Friday. Did I say that? Drinking I've got a lemon lime Powerade and a Sam's purified drinking water. I'm very pleased to have you along with me tonight. Please go to all of the social media pages, Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, The Other People Show. The numbers are growing. The subscriptions are growing. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my 3-sized too small heart. But it's still a thank you. Because without you all, the show would be going down. But it's not. It's going upward. Please like and subscribe and check out all the great programming on 92.5 and 93.5 WAXM. It's been a good week. We're experiencing the hot heat, aren't we? Which a lot of people are seeing. When I talk about this, now I'm speaking broadly and I'm playing a character on the show. And I never want anything bad to happen when I'm speaking on the show. Unless I specifically say, I want a lightning bolt to come down on said person. Now, if I say that, then that's what I mean. But when I say something like, I don't mind the hot weather, I really don't. A lot of people do complain about it. But it doesn't really bother me. And the reason it doesn't bother me is because I know it's hot. I know it's sweaty. I know that oh, guys, it's so hot out here. Oh, God. Yeah. But the alternative, though, you say the flip side of the coin, is that there's winter, and then there's cold, and then there's snow, and then you're confined inside your house, and then the electricity goes out, and then you're there, and you're sitting there shivering and cold because the electricity has went out, because it's cold, because it's winter. There's 4 foot of snow outside with no end in sight, all because you were complaining because it's hot outside for about 14 days straight. Like the heat. You can get this little thing called a cup of ice. And you can get this and pour it on your head. You can put it in your mouth and suck on the ice. Rub it on the back of your neck, behind your knee, on your temple. It's a very nice thing. And if it's so hot that it's in the 90s or 80s or hotter, it will melt. And when it melts, you'll have, wet ice liquid on you. That will dry in a jiffy. So you don't even have to worry. Not to worry. It's not a mess. It cleans up nicely. And it's fun and cooling and relaxing. It really is. Now, I know a few weeks back we spoke about Diddy. P. Diddy. And he had put out that apology video that I played. I don't think I played it on the show. But, he's in there talking about the things. You can YouTube it. But he has since taken it down from his Instagram page. And I think after he saw on social media and everything how everyone was criticizing the post, that he just took it down. So there's been no new developments in Diddy, which I'm wondering what's going on. Because that was probably back in March Yeah, I would say that was back in March because it was back when I went to see Pete Davidson. It happened maybe the day before. Because I know when I drove down to see Pete and the way back, I basically listened to shows giving news and facts about what's going on, developments in that story. But there's not been anything really since then. So I just wanted to bring that up and let you all know there wasn't much since that. Another thing that kind of came, it's not really that it came to my attention because it's not anything. It's kind of just something that I remember, is that it was the 15th anniversary of Michael Jackson's death. He died June 26th. I'm pretty sure it was June 26th, 2009. And every so often, I'll go back and I'll just kind of, it was June 25th, 2009. He was 50 years old when he died. He would have been 51. So now he would have been 65 years old. And I try to think what it would be like to have a 65-year-old Michael Jackson. And I just can't fathom it. I just cannot fathom a 65-year-old Michael Jackson. Would he have continued to have the cosmetic procedures that he had had? I mean, let's go through. He claims to have only had 2 rhinoplasties. But that's not true. He'd had several facial plastic surgeries because of hypersensitivity, and they were botched. He had over 10 surgeries on his nose. And near the end, they had reconstructed his nose where it looked quite a bit better, but it was still not really human. And they've also speculated that he had a forehead lift, cheekbone surgery. He altered his lips, had his lips tattooed because the pigmentation had left. Also had his hairline tattooed black. So you have to imagine, Michael Jackson wasn't a wuss of a guy, of a human being. Because Michael Jackson could withstand pain if you think about it. Now, I do have a couple of tattoos. I have the St. Joseph's Cross on my left wrist. I've got a Celtic band reminiscent of Melanie C's, aka Sporty Spice, around my right bicep. I have the Chinese lettering No Regrets on my left bicep. I have the stick figure with a halo on my, I think, left shoulder. Blue, yellow halo from the Saint on my left shoulder. And then I have Strength, Immortal Being, and Fire Chinese tattoos on my right shoulder. That was a thing back in the mid 2000s. Regardless of that, some of those hurt a little bit. So for Michael Jackson to have his lips tattooed, his hairline tattooed, that is very painful. And he lost a lot of weight. He changed a lot of his hair, a lot of the stage lighting. Now there had been reports that he had altered his eyes. But there's been no, I don't really know how you would really alter your eyes. And it seems, to be honest with you, I would be afraid after a certain point how much is too much. You know what I mean? How much is too much? Can I go over an open flame? Will I start to melt like in House of Wax? Would his nose have melted off, Michael Jackson's nose? Would he be like the character Pooh Bear in The Salton Sea, where you would just see the skeletal nose? But why would you continue and continue and continue? Now, Michael Jackson did have burns on his head during a Pepsi commercial. The pyrotechnics went awry and caught his hair on fire, causing him to have third-degree burns. Because the magnesium flesh bombs exploded only 2 feet away from either side of his head. And there were no safety regulations at the time. So he had second-degree burns on his skull and would be transferred to the special burn unit. So Michael Jackson had some early problems early on, and he had third-degree burns on the back of his head, which had made him almost gone through the skull, and that had caused multiple health problems. He had lupus also. And over a period of years, balloon implants had been inserted to stretch the affected areas of Michael Jackson's scalp, cut out the scars in order to restore the hair. In November of '93, Jackson announced the cancellation of the remaining shows of the Dangerous Tour because of a dependence on painkillers, which had been described after a recent constructive scalp surgery. The efforts to restore his hair failed. Jackson therefore resolved and resorted to wearing wigs. And the reason I talk about this is you can think about what you want to think about him. That's fine. That's not the topic of discussion tonight on the Other People Show. The topic of discussion is that he had made over $8 billion, had been a famous star his entire life since the age of 5. So 45 years out of the 50 years, he was famous. He had multiple health conditions. Vitiligo, lupus. He had body dysmorphia disorder. He went from a black man to a porcelain-skinned man because he tried to blend in the dark patches, or the white patches with the cream. Burned on the top of his head, is looked at by some as a criminal, looked at by nearly everyone as strange and unusual, but also gifted and multi-talented. Other than a few clips that I've seen, to be honest with you, it never really seemed to me like Michael Jackson was ever a happy person. With everything, he just didn't seem happy. Because if you were truly happy with yourself, you wouldn't be going through all the lengths that you're going through. I mean, it said, I was reading that he was $500 million in debt. And he would buy all these things. You've seen the video, I'm sure, where he's just going through saying he wants this, 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 and this. And it's just gaudy. It's tacky things. And why would he need those things? Why would he want those things? Because he can? Because he's happy and he's trying to feel some kind of inward need? Inward want, inward desire? Wanted to feel loved? I don't know. But I do know that Michael Jackson never seemed happy to me. And when these little chipmunks or whatever it is start singing in this song, it used to scare me as a kid. So yeah, just a little food for thought there. I've been watching some videos this past week, and plastic surgery, I mean, technically I've had some plastic surgery. I have a severely dislocated pinky that will always be crooked, thanks to Amos Williams. I was making him famous on YouTube, and but he was kind of being famous because he was kind of a goof, kind of goofy, silly. I like Amos, don't get me wrong, but he didn't want to be known as that. He wanted to be taken seriously as a serious actor, and he was a comedic actor. There's no denying that. So when I was trying to play up his strengths, he was getting recognized in public by being this character that I had created, but he didn't want that. He was doing the George Michael route. He didn't want to be known as the guy from Wham. He wanted to be taken as a serious artiste, but he wasn't. He was a comic. He was a comedic actor. So he confronted me one time. I was actually doing a facial. I had like a seaweed mask on. He barges in. I'm in there, and I'm telling him, listen, Amos, you're famous. You're going to get paid. People love you. People know you. They love this character. Just go with it. Accept it. It's like someone that plays Batman. Well, it's like not Batman. It's like someone that plays, you're playing Gomer Pyle. This is what I was afraid of. I don't know why.
I think it would be really nice if you and I could, just get together. It's such a proactive.
Yeah, I have no idea. But he got upset, barged in. I was getting some dishes out of a dishwasher, and he slams the dishwasher as hard as he freaking can on my hand. And if you're looking at the Facebook feed now, you can see my finger, my pinky there, my right pinky, which is my dominant hand, is virtually unusable now. It won't even pop. And all that's just to the fact because he wanted to be taken as a serious actor. I was playing to his strengths. But anyway, I have had some plastic surgery, that being one of the surgeries that I've had. Another being is I had an ear plastic surgery, where my right ear would, and it bothered me my entire life. It was a little bit of body dysmorphia. And maybe that's why I'm even intrigued by this plastic surgery that's, celebrities seem to have. Some of them seem to have. And my right ear kind of stuck out a little bit, and it always bothered me in pictures. So, I had always edited that in pictures because I hated pictures unless I turned a certain way. So when I was able to, I was able to get that surgery, fix the problem, and now I can easily take pictures and feel more confidence. So I do understand if you have, little tweaks or things here and there, but not drastic things that you don't need. Michael Jackson wasn't, other than, some of the skin condition and lupus and things like that, he was a relatively nice-looking young man. Same with Mickey Rourke. Everyone considered him a handsome-looking man, and then you go and look what he's turned himself into now. And the same thing can be said of, that lady that, kind of she now looks like a cat. The cat lady. I don't know her real name, but she's like maybe a million or billionaire. One of the two. But now she looks like a cat. So that is kind of, what happens. But wouldn't you think that you would have somebody that would be around to be like, listen, enough is enough. You don't need to do anymore. And I know you're going to be able to, if you're a celebrity, you can find a doctor to do it. Even if it's a doctor without a license. Someone will do it to make the money and to be this plastic surgeon of said famous person. Because there's always those kind of famous people chasers. Whether it be doctors, plastic surgeons, drug dealers, regardless of who it is, they will want to be piped in with the said celebrity, whoever it may be. So that's kind of, but the Mickey Rourke thing, it really astounds me as well. And I know that he went back into the professional boxing, back in the early '90s. He says he went back. He doesn't make any. He says who he is. That he's made some mistakes. But it's like, all right, you've got to the point where you're kind of rough looking in the wrestler. You're kind of your face is kind of rough and tumble, but you're still able to be cast in some films. Now you're in your early 70s, and you don't even look like a real human. I mean, you really don't. And I'm going to look up Mickey right now. And you wouldn't even believe if you haven't looked him up. I mean, you look him up, just put now and then, it doesn't even look like the same person. I mean, it really doesn't. Now and then, right here, I'm looking it up. The first picture, I mean, I can't even begin to tell you. I cannot even begin to tell you how the guy on the left in all these photos barely resembles the guy on the right. And when these people look in the mirror at themselves, what do they think? What do they think? I mean, what could you think? I don't know. I do not get it. I'll tell you what they should be doing is going to Cher's plastic surgeon. Cher's the one that seems to have the best plastic surgeon. I mean, Cher is probably, 80 years old now? And I'm not really, I don't like, or I don't, I guess Cher's starting to show her age now, but she's 77. I mean, what can you do? What can you do? Nothing really. So, we're going to end, I guess. Just wanted to talk a little bit tonight, get on and say hello. I think last week we just did, last week I think we did 2 shows. Now, it's weird for some particular reason, I have not been able to upload the last week's version of the Other People's Show. Last episode has not been able to be uploaded onto YouTube. But it is on Spotify, so I'm going to try to work on that, if possible. And post these as well later on tonight. So thank you all for tuning in to the Other People's Show. We may have somebody in next week. We will have, it'll be the 5th of July. June has flown by, as has our lives. It really has, I think. Crazy. Let's see what we got going on in June. I think we're going to start doing, I teased this a couple weeks ago. We might have Jeremiah and Amber back in studio, so we may do a Guess the Scene. maybe even a mutant Mad Lib or tongue twister. We teased that a few weeks back. And we're going to have maybe get some musicians in this summer, do some fun things. Thank you all for tuning in to the show. Please check out all of the social media pages. That's the Facebook, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Instagram, the Other People Show. And, wow. Did you all watch that debate last night? It was a bloodbath. Have a good night.